The problem: modern humans don't understand. You wake up tired, not the normal kind of tired, the deep kind. The kind that doesn't go away after sleep. The kind coffee can't fix. Doctors call it chronic fatigue, burnout, or mental exhaustion. But those are just names. They don't explain why it happens. Now here's a strange question. How did samurai, living in old Japan, survive brutal training, poor nutrition, constant danger, and still wake up ready for battle? No caffeine, no supplements, no motivation speeches. Yet they didn't complain about being drained. This is where modern people get uncomfortable, because the problem isn't your body, it's your energy system. In old Japan, samurai understood something we've forgotten. Energy is not created by rest alone. It's preserved by how the mind is used. Today, your body may sit still, but your mind never stops moving. Notifications, deadlines, endless thinking, constant comparison. Your nervous system is always on alert, even when nothing is wrong. That's why you feel tired without doing anything difficult. Samurai lived under real threat, but their minds were quiet. That sounds impossible to modern ears, but silence was trained, not accidental. In Japanese philosophy, exhaustion was seen as a mental leak, not a physical failure. They believed this: when the mind scatters, energy drains. When the mind is still, strength returns. Modern health advice tells you to add things: more sleep, more supplements, more routines. Samurai did the opposite. They removed what drained them. They understood that constant emotional reaction weakens the body faster than physical labor. Anger, fear, overthinking, inner resistance. Each one pulls energy from the nervous system. This is why two people can sleep 8 hours, and one wakes up strong, the other exhausted. Old Japan trained warriors to conserve energy through mental restraint, not suppression. Control. Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's most famous undefeated samurai, warned against unnecessary mental movement. He wrote that reacting to everything makes the body heavy and the spirit dull. Modern life rewards reaction. Samurai life punished it. And here's the truth no one tells you. Your tiredness is not a sign you need motivation. It's a signal that your mind is undisciplined. This video is not about forcing yourself harder. It's about understanding why samurai never reached the point you're living in now. In the next chapter, we'll step into old Japan itself and see how samurai structured their mornings, thoughts, and habits to protect their energy before the day even began. Because once you understand their system, you'll realize something unsettling. You don't need more energy. You need fewer leaks. How samurai protected their energy before the day began in old Japan. A samurai's day did not begin with movement. It began with stillness. Before training, before weapons, before speech, there was silence. This wasn't spiritual decoration. It was energy protection. Samurai believed the morning determined the strength of the body for the rest of the day. If the mind was scattered early, fatigue followed by noon. So they followed a rule modern people break daily. They did not react immediately to the world. No rushing, no mental noise, no unnecessary decisions. In Japanese tradition, the first moments after waking were considered sacred energy time. Not because of religion, but because the nervous system was open and unguarded. Samurai guarded it carefully. They rose before sunrise, not to work harder, but to move slowly. Simple movements, controlled breathing, awareness of posture. This regulated the body before stress entered it. Today, most people do the opposite. They wake up and flood the mind instantly. Phone, messages, news, problems that don't yet exist. The nervous system never stabilizes, it goes straight into defense mode. Samurai trained to stay out of that state unless absolutely necessary. They understood that being alert all day was a weakness, not a strength. Energy was meant to be saved for the moment of action. Another rule guided their mornings: eat light, think less. Heavy food and heavy thoughts were believed to anchor the body downward. Modern science now calls this metabolic load and cognitive fatigue. Samurai already knew. Their meals were simple. Their thoughts were narrower. They focused on one task, not 100. This single focus mindset prevented energy fragmentation. In old Japan, discipline wasn't about doing more. It was about doing less with intention. This is why samurai could train for hours without feeling drained. Their minds weren't arguing with their bodies. They accepted discomfort without emotional resistance. Resistance is exhausting. Acceptance is efficient. Samurai also avoided unnecessary speech early in the day. Talking scattered attention. Silence gathered it. Today, people confuse stimulation with readiness. Samurai knew better. Readiness came from calm, containment, not excitement. By the time their training began, their energy was already organized, not hyped, not anxious, not depleted, just steady. This routine didn't make them faster, it made them enduring. And endurance, not intensity, is what prevents chronic fatigue. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the core energy code behind this lifestyle, the rule that allowed samurai to remain strong under pressure, and why ignoring it leaves modern humans constantly exhausted, no matter how much they rest. Because once you understand this principle, you'll see why energy loss has very little to do with effort and everything to do with mental waste. The Samurai Energy Code. By now, you know how samurai started their mornings, in silence, protecting their energy. But there was a deeper reason. They never felt truly exhausted, even after long days of training and battle. It wasn't just food or sleep. It wasn't luck or strong genes. It was a hidden rule, a simple principle that guided every action and thought. They believed that energy is lost not through work, but through mental chaos. Think about it for a moment. Two men can do the same physical task. One finishes calm and strong. The other collapses exhausted. The difference isn't in the body, it's in the mind. Samurai trained themselves to avoid unnecessary reactions. Every burst of anger, worry, or impatience drained energy before the body even moved. Modern humans do the opposite. We react to every notification. We worry about what might happen tomorrow. We allow small distractions to control our day. And then we wonder why we are tired, even after sleeping 8 hours. Samurai learned to keep their minds still. They noticed their thoughts, but didn't get lost in them. They accepted discomfort without resistance. Cold mornings, hunger, fatigue, and fear were not enemies, but part of life. When the mind resists, the body tires. When the mind accepts, energy flows freely. Every movement and action was intentional. Samurai focused on one thing at a time. Nothing distracted them. Their attention was always on the task that mattered most. Decisions that wasted energy were eliminated. Meals, clothing, training, all were simple and pre-planned. No mental chaos. No energy lost on unnecessary choices. This discipline allowed them to move through the day with strength, calm, and endurance. Not because their bodies were stronger, but because their minds were organized. Modern people often think fatigue comes from lack of sleep or coffee. The truth is that the mind is the real energy controller. If the mind scatters, even the strongest body will feel exhausted. In the next chapter, we will explore the daily health and energy practices of samurai, small routines that can be applied today to feel calm, focused, and tireless. Because understanding this principle is the first step to controlling your energy and to never feeling drained before the day even begins. Samurai daily health and routine. By now, you understand that the mind controls energy. But the samurai didn't stop there. They paired this mental discipline with simple daily practices that kept their bodies strong and tireless. In old Japan, mornings were slow, intentional, and quiet. After waking before sunrise, they didn't rush into training or meals. Instead, they moved gently, stretching, breathing, and aligning their posture. Every motion had a purpose. Nothing wasted, nothing rushed. Their meals were simple, yet effective. Rice, vegetables, occasionally fish. Nothing heavy, nothing processed. They understood that a sluggish body drains the mind faster than work itself. Eating lightly kept the body energized and clear, ready to face long hours of training or battle. Hydration was important too. Water or tea, never sugar or stimulants. This wasn't a fad. It was a practice rooted in observation. The body functions best when it is neither overfed nor undernourished. Exercise was not just physical training, it was deliberate movement. Sword practice, walking, or controlled routines, all designed to strengthen without exhausting the system. They didn't chase intensity for the sake of showing strength. They conserved energy for moments that mattered. Rest, like activity, was intentional. They didn't lounge in bed thinking of the day ahead. They paused, observed, and allowed the body and mind to settle. Even short periods of calm restored more energy than hours of distracted sleep. Mental clarity and energy were further preserved by avoiding unnecessary conversations early in the day. Speech scatters attention, and attention consumes energy. Samurai knew when to speak and when silence served better. Even the smallest discomforts, cold, hunger, fatigue, were not avoided. They were accepted. Acceptance prevents resistance, and resistance is exhausting. By living in this balance, the body became more resilient, and the mind remained calm. All of these routines share one principle: conservation and intention. Every meal, every movement, every breath was purposeful. Nothing was wasted, nothing ignored. Energy was collected, organized, and reserved for what truly mattered. For modern humans, applying these practices doesn't require swords, armor, or battles. It begins with small steps: waking quietly, eating simply, moving intentionally, and allowing calm pauses. Reduce trivial decisions. Avoid mental noise. Accept minor discomforts. Even one day of following this principle will make you feel noticeably stronger and calmer. Imagine feeling that energy every morning, before work, before responsibilities, before stress even begins. In the next chapter, we'll bring all these lessons together and reveal how to apply the samurai energy code to modern life, so that fatigue, distraction, and mental exhaustion no longer control your day. Applying the samurai energy code today, we've traveled through old Japan, watched the samurai protect their mornings, control their minds, and follow simple routines that kept them tireless. Now, it's time to bring these lessons into your world. The first step is simple. Understand that energy is not about coffee, supplements, or motivation. It's about where your mind goes and what you allow to scatter your focus. Start your day like a samurai. Wake quietly, move gently, stretch, breathe, and observe your body. Give yourself a moment before the world demands your attention lightly. Avoid heavy, processed foods first thing in the morning. Hydrate. Let your body settle and organize its energy. This is not a diet. It's giving your system what it needs to function efficiently. During the day, notice where your energy leaks. Every unnecessary notification, every trivial decision, every reaction to minor problems pulls energy from your nervous system. Samurai avoided this instinctively. You can do the same consciously. Accept minor discomforts, cold mornings, hunger between meals, fatigue from work. Resistance burns more energy than the discomfort itself. When you accept it, energy flows naturally. Focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking scatters attention, scattering energy with it. A single, deliberate action is more powerful than 10 distracted ones. And finally, conserve your mind like the samurai conserved their mornings. Not every thought needs attention. Not every problem needs an immediate reaction. Learn to distinguish between what matters and what doesn't. If you practice these principles consistently, even small changes will make a difference. You'll feel lighter, calmer, more capable. Fatigue will no longer dominate your mornings. You'll notice your energy lasting through tasks, workouts, and even long hours of work. Remember, the samurai didn't rely on willpower. They relied on structure, discipline, and energy conservation. Your body will respond when the mind is clear and organized. So tonight, before you sleep, reflect on these rules. Wake with purpose. Move with intention. Speak when necessary. Accept discomfort. Focus fully. These are not quick fixes, they are ways to live stronger, calmer, and more energized every day. By following the samurai energy code, fatigue stops controlling you. You reclaim your mornings, your energy, and your mind. And one day, you will wake up feeling ready for anything. Just like a samurai did centuries ago. This is your code. This is your energy. Use it wisely.